Let's go out on the video chat from Ricky Foley now to another guy bound for the Hall of Fame, and that is Travis Lulay, now of the BC Lions front office, and so many great things with that franchise. Joining us from Surrey, BC. Good morning, Travis. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys this morning?
We're good. We're talking sports. We've covered a lot. Kawhi Leonard. We've covered a little bit of soccer there. You're a Montana guy. Went to school there anyway. Soccer big in Montana, Travis?
It is growing as it is in a lot of places in the States. I know the University of Montana has a women's soccer program, but Montana State University does not. Mm-hmm. So I know there is some interest in, I know it's Women's World Cup time, so at least women's soccer. But I think the sport is growing as it is in a lot of places. Yeah,
that's what I wanted. It's growing here big time too, and I feel Saskatchewan, Montana, not that different. Ask the Dickinsons. They feel like they're home when they're here. I thought you didn't want to answer the question about the 0-3 BC Lions. What's the take out there?
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not privy to being inside the locker room, but I can tell you, I think the vibe is still good. And I obviously Mike's a close friend of mine, so I feel him out kind of after every game and see where they're at. Obviously, they were disappointed. Had a really good opportunity to win that football game in Calgary, and for 57 minutes, we're the better team. Really felt like we were in control. I know just watching from afar, boy, it looked so much better than week 2 against Edmonton, and just from an entire team standpoint, but particularly on the offensive side, they had a great rhythm. I mean, I thought Mike played a phenomenal individual football game. And then, it just happened. Calgary won the last 3 minutes of the game, and Calgary ultimately gets to take the 2 points home. So I think there's, it's one of those things where the team knows they're getting closer. The team knows they're better. But until you find a way to get over the hump and get that W, you don't feel real good about it.
I think you mentioned or alluded to it the last time we had you on, but this is right where you want them, right? The Lions' road to the Grey Cup. This is how it starts. But is there some reason for optimism? I mean, the team is really close, and the game against Calgary saw a lot of positive things.
Well, no, you're bang on. 2 losses off a Grey Cup pace, right? No, but I do think the team is still optimistic, and as you say, they're close. Now, close doesn't win you anything, and the guys know that, so I think there is an extreme sense of urgency. You don't want to dig too deep a hole. I mean, we did it in 11, but that was no small feat, right? But it's possible, and so I know, there's guys that have been around that, or guys that have been around slow starts, and it sounds cliche to say, but it's true. Grey Cups aren't won and lost in June. Here we are in early July. Now you got to find ways to start getting those W's on the board. But I've heard Mike say this and publicly and Devon, and it's the truth that when you worry about the process, when you worry about playing better football, and now they want to play better situational football, find a way to finish a game. When you worry about those things, and that's where the emphasis is, the wins and losses start to take care of themselves. So that's the ideal. If you start saying, man, we got to win, you tighten up and you do things kind of the wrong way. So really you still have to be really disciplined in your thought process and say, listen, as long as we play better here, we do some of these things, X, Y, and Z, we correct these things. You worry that way. And again, those wins will find themselves.
You got a first-year head coach in Devon. How important is it that he brings that message? I mean, you've been through, like you said, 2011 when the team, struggling on the field. But how important is the coaching staff's message, and how is he going to be able to go through this being a first-time head coach?
Well, I think it's really important, and I think his messaging is going to be critical at this point of the season. There's the off season, there's excitement, and everybody's excited and feels good about it. But now it's gut check time, right? When you lose a couple games, you got to still be able to look your leader in the eye and trust his vision. And so I think that Devon's messaging has been good, has been just that, as we've spoken on. Listen, guys, at the end of it, we can do whatever we want with this. We can let this go. Oh man, we aren't who we thought we were, or we can say, listen, this is a bump in the road. This is a way for us to become more battle tested and mentally stronger as a group. And what that has to do is resonate with the veterans in the team, who have to be able to then spread that message to, say, the bottom half of the roster, who are newer or younger guys, or who haven't dealt with professional adversity before. So that's where it's got to be as a unit, but it has to start from the top. And just my take on it, just being on a little bit the outside, but having some conversations with those guys, is that's exactly where they're at. The vibe still seems good, though. I said it's not panic time. There's a sense of urgency to start putting some W's on the board.
Our West Coast correspondent, Travis Lulay, with us from Surrey, BC this morning. Travis, you must have beamed the last 2 weeks watching Cody Fajardo do what he's done. The yardage now, it's the most ever for a quarterback making his Saskatchewan debut in back-to-back starts. Did you see? Ricky Foley was just on. He played with him in Toronto. He said he didn't see this coming. Did you?
Well, I mean, it's hard to see those numbers coming from anybody. I mean, if I had Anthony Calvillo as my quarterback, he's playing the next 2 games and he put up those numbers, you'd be floored about it, right? So, no, hats off, kudos to Cody. He's certainly earned the opportunity, and that's what I could say about Cody. And you're right, beaming. You feel like a proud father or uncle, Like Cody's just a great dude, right? And so I was really happy for him to have an opportunity we kind of spoke, and, he was using me as a reference, and I'm not, upping my importance level in his life or anything, but, he was asking me questions of, when he's in his free agency journey and just about the opportunity there. And, once you become an entrenched number 2 in the CFL, you have an opportunity to be on the field. We know the deal. This is the way it's been. I've dealt with it. That's how I got on the field originally. That's how guys behind me got on the field and when I got banged up. So he earned that opportunity to become a number 2 quarterback. And see, the thing about Cody is it's so much different than a lot of guys. Is oftentimes it happens really early in your career, and for some guys, frankly, too early in their career.
Right.
They're not as ready as they think they are. Now, Cody's had the opportunity to sit back and watch how Ricky goes to work. He got a chance to work with myself and Jonathan last year, and just seeing my daily routine, what it's like to be a starting quarterback, and to, mentally kind of talk through the highs and lows that come with that. And so he's more experienced than a lot of guys who get their first real playing opportunity. So you just gotta tip your hat to him for doing all the things that he needed to do to mentally and physically be in position to play at a high level when his team is counting on him. Because frankly, a lot of guys, I could feel the vibe in Sask when Zach went down. I was like, oh my goodness, what did we get ourselves into here? And all of a sudden, Cody's breathed new life into that team, especially from an offensive point of view. We have Cody Fajardo now, and he's given us a chance to put up some big numbers. That gets everybody energized. The wideouts are excited. Who's going to have the big game? He threw a 100-yard touchdown, 98-yard touchdodown pass last week, and he's getting shout-outs on Twitter from Trent Dilfer talking about Dilfer dimes and all these things. So, Cody's riding a bit of a high right now. Obviously, he's not going to throw for 400 yards every week, but I think what he's done is kind of won his organization and teammates over to the point where they're going to play hard for him.
Last one for you, Travis. By the way, Travis Lulay, a Gord Barwell Award winner from the Ottawa Grey Cup. I was there, Travis. I was in the room. Haven't forgot about that. Watching Saturday night, I went with Derek at his son's birthday party. I see the Stamps come back and win that game, and I see Reilly kind of lose it on the sideline after the game. Who is he losing it on? Can you talk about that? I didn't have a problem with it. I like firing a quarterback. A lot of guys do that. What was the deal? How upset was he, and what was he upset about Saturday night? Or just upset in general?
Yeah, I can't speak to Mike in that specific moment other than to say I've been there. I've been there, and it's hard. It's just mentally challenging, right? This is a team that was 0-2 at the time, knew they needed to play better. I think the offense felt like they underperformed in week 2 in Edmonton. And so here's a team that's responded really well. And the offense responded every time they needed to in that game, right? Every time Calgary made it a 1-score game late, Mike led the offense down, and they scored a touchdown to go up 11 with 3.5 minutes to play. And the next time Mike takes field, there's 25 seconds on the clock and he's down by 4. And you're going, it's just frustrating because, like, man, what can I do? I felt like we did everything. We checked off all the boxes. We owned the time of possession. We're in Calgary, where who knows when the last time Calgary lost 2 in a row, and we had them on the ropes, and we just let that game slip away. So it's just a general sense of frustration. Like I said, in speaking with them, there's not a panic, but the sense of urgency is high to get that win, and they knew they had a great opportunity right in front of them to not just put some momentum behind us, but to take a little wind out of Calgary's sails too. And, everybody in the West was probably rooting for BC probably in that moment, right, to knock Calgary off to an 0-2 start. But it didn't happen. Calgary's defending champs, for a reason. Those guys are battle tested. They're mentally tough, even with the backup Nick Arbuckle stepping in the game and making some big plays for them and relying heavy on their guys. So I can only say that I'm sure that was just frustration in the moment, maybe not at one particular individual, but just the immediate state of a loss, I can tell you is a highly emotional thing.
Travis, thanks for the insight as always. Can't wait for these Riders-Lions gets together. That's going to be fun. But thanks for the insight and good luck this week.
Anytime. Appreciate it, guys.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.